We will take questions for players only, so we can dismiss them, and then we'll continue with Coach. Coach, please go ahead.
Yeah, look, really happy for these guys. Not just these two, but obviously everybody in that locker room. What we've been through over the last month and a half, and just battling and fighting and scratching and clawing, coming up short. And these guys have stuck together. They haven't lost their belief in each other or themselves, which is a testament to them. And so it's nice to see them rewarded, and really rewarded in a game where we were far from our best. I mean, I just feel like, you know, if on a scale of 1 to 10, I think we played at like a 6 today. Now, we made free throws. We made enough shots to kind of keep them at bay. But our defense and our rebounding was at a high level. And, you know, I know Andre made some shots for us there in the second half, but I thought his defensive effort on Hall was terrific. He had to work for everything he got, and he really battled him all night. And Julian was good. He was on Johnson a lot. In the second half, and a little bit in the first half, and those were their two key players. So I thought both these guys' defensive efforts were great, and as a team they were. Hassan Diop gave us great energy, great rebounding effort in the minutes he played. So a lot of positive things, but there's a lot of things we can play a lot better. Both offensively and defensively. We got back to 19 turnovers. I don't quite understand how that works, but against two of the better defensive teams in our league, we turn it over 20 times in 80 minutes, and tonight we turn it over 19 times in 40 minutes. It just doesn't compute to me, but that's who we are, I guess. So room for improvement, and move on.
Question for players.
Julian, certainly you've been maybe part of bigger wins here at CU, but given the way the season has gone, is this in any way among the more satisfying wins you've had?
I mean, yeah, it definitely feels good. We've been struggling. 13 losses in a row is not something that you want to ever go through, really. But just getting back on the right track, and hopefully we can carry over onto Iowa State on Tuesday.
Andre, you shot the ball well at UCF and shot the ball well tonight. Anything about UCF's defense, or just happen to hit shots today?
Not really. It just happened to hit shots, and it's been a long time. So it feels good to see a couple shots getting.
Andre, it's been a couple games in a row that you've knocked down some shots. Anything lead into that? Any extra work you've done? You had kind of a tough run there, but we see you kind of getting back to form here.
Yeah, just be in the gym every day. Almost every night I'm coming back and getting some extra shots up. So, and I think all the guys on the team, we've been putting in work a lot, especially through this rough stretch, and it finally paid off. And I'm just happy for the team and for the coaches as well.
Okay.
One more. Julian, last one for me, but getting one under your belt. You've had a few kind of near misses during the losing streak. But I know you got some tough competition ahead, but maybe kind of getting that winless mark off your shoulders. Next time you're in a close game, that help maybe be less pressure on your guys to try to come through a crunch time, that sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Once you win one game, you just want to build on all of the good things. Like we rebounded the ball really well tonight, and so we want to take that into Iowa State. Obviously, I mean, there's no pressure on us anymore, really. So we're just gonna go out and try and compete and play hard every night. And whatever we do good in the past games, we want to carry that into the next six league games.
Okay. For either of you guys, there was a 10-0 run for UCF early in the first half, and you guys found yourselves down. What was it like trying to come back from that and still play the second half you guys did?
I mean, we know that teams are gonna go on runs. Whether it's, I mean, we don't want it to be 10-0 runs. We'd prefer it to be 4 points, 6 points, and stuff like that. But we just talk about we gotta get stops, we gotta rebound the ball, and then the offense side is gonna take care of itself. We just gotta get the ball moved, because I felt for a little while our offense was pretty stagnant, and the ball was sticking a lot. So we just talked about get the ball moved, cut, set screens, roll fast, and and just keep on getting stops and trying to run.
Okay. That's all for the players. Thank you guys. You're dismissed. continue with questions for Coach.
Yeah, kind of same thing I asked Julian. Obviously, you've had bigger wins here, but you know, for you, obviously, after the losing streak, is this in its way kind of a very satisfying one?
I'll just go back to what I said, in the opening statement, Pat. I'm happy for our players because, the one thing when you go through this, and I've been through it before, they haven't, but I have in my career, and it's no fun. That's for damn sure. But you got to remind yourself why you coach, and you coach to help young men. You hopefully want to have a positive impact on their lives, and losing sucks. I mean, there's no getting around it. And when you lose 13 in a row and you come up short, 5 or 6 times like we have, it wears on you. But it's all about, I've tried to just pour all my energy into the players, helping them get better. You mentioned that stretch in the first half. I mean, I let them have it. I mean, we had kind of a deer in the headlights look, like, and we're kind of feeling sorry for ourselves and not great body language. And I just said, guys, it's time to grow up. And they did. They responded. So I was happy. But I'm just at the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about the student athletes. It's about making sure they're having, a positive experience. Even, it's hard to have a positive experience when you lose. It really is. But I give them a lot of credit for sticking together and not pointing fingers and, not playing the blame game. And I've tried to do my best not to do that as well. So it's nice to see them get rewarded for defending and rebounding at a really high level, which is, as you know, what this program is built on. And we did it tonight, and we got to win. Amazing.
What's the teaching challenge when you go for a long stretch without the positive reinforcement?
Yeah, I think you got to point to the fact, like, for example, the Houston game and the Kansas game, the turnovers, which have been a problem for this team all year. But then when you have, 2 games like that against really, legitimate competition, you got to build on the positives. So you build on the things that you're doing well. The problem with us is, the only thing that we're consistent in is our inconsistencies. That's just who we are. And again, 8 turnovers against Houston, 12 against Kansas, 19 against Central Florida. Like, I just scratch my head. So build on the positive and don't lower the standard of the program. We have 9 game goals, for example. We're not changing those game goals just because we can't win a game. The game, if we hit the game goals, 3, 4, 5 of them, we're gonna win some games. You don't have to hit all of them, but in our 13 losses, we never hit more than 2. So what that tells me is we weren't doing anything at a high level to win a game. Defense, rebounding, free throw shooting, whatever it might be on any given night. And tonight we did. I know we hit our free throw goal. I know we hit our defensive goal. I know we hit our rebounding goal. I don't know about the other 6. We didn't hit our turnover goal. That's for damn sure. So I just build on the positive and don't lower the standards and keep challenging and encouraging them and doing, yelling at them and berating them. That was over a long time ago. Even though I got after them at a timeout tonight when they were feeling sorry for themselves.
You talked about the bad body language there at a point in the first half.
Yeah.
You got up 10, 55-45 in the second half. Then you had a long
drought.
How did they overcome that?
Well,
especially given the losing streak.
We kept guarding. We kept guarding. So, we went on that dry spell, but guess what? Central Florida was on a dry spell too. So, and that's, I think it got cut to 5, and then we hit a shot or 2 and got it back up to 10, and Andre hit a big shot, and we had some really, really good looks in that stretch. Tonight's the first time I've yelled at a kid in 15 years at Colorado for missing shots. First time ever. I just had enough. Guys, at some point you got to nut up and make a shot. When you got an open shot, you just got to do it. It's a little frustration probably coming out with me, but I mean, that's the truth. I mean, we spent a lot of time on shooting, and Andre's, the thing about Andre is he may not shoot the ball every game, but it's not because he's not working on it. I can tell you that. He works on it. I don't know if all of our players work on it. You know, some guys are taking open threes, and they think it's a good shot for us, and it's really a good shot for the other team. And we got to start figuring that out, too.
There is no forgiveness in this conference.
No, there is no. I always say if we don't fix our problems, our opponents will. And our opponents have been, you know, exposing us in the first month and a half of being back in this league. And so it's a learning opportunity for our young guys. And you know, our seniors are coming down the stretch run here. 6 games left in the tournament. But it was great having Derek White here. Derek addressed our team before the game, and I thought the message that he sent them was spot on. He's a smart guy. Obviously, he's a really smart player. But I told him, I said he might have a future in coaching. He just talked about doing the little things because people forget Derek's year that he played here. We started out 0-7 in the league play, and won I think won 8. Huh? Yeah, Pat didn't forget. He kept reminding me of that. But we were 0-13. That's a little bit longer drought. But you know, Derek went through it. As a player and talked about just doing the little things and coming to work every day and trying to get better, and our guys did that tonight. And we won a game when we were not at our best. We did this, like I said, I would put a 5 or a 6 out of 10 on our performance tonight. I think we could do a lot of things a lot better.
On the topic of improvement, Tad, someone that sticks out is Sebastian. Being a freshman, evolving into that bigger role and a spark plug for this team. How important is he, and how good is it to see his progression throughout?
Yeah, Sebastian, we knew he was going to be a great player when we recruited him. He's going to be a great player. He's a freshman that's still making mistakes, but his mistakes are not made because he's afraid or scared or doesn't believe in himself. He believes, in himself, and I believe in him because he plays, and he's finally figured out, hey, when I put some pressure on the rim and get to the free throw line, I can be effective. I thought the first part of his freshman year, he was just so jump shot reliant. And he's a good jump shooter. He's one of our better shooters in practice for sure. So, but yeah, to me, he's going to be a future NBA player in my mind. I believe that when we recruited him. Now that I've coached him for 3/4 of a season, I still believe that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some development. Big off season for him, but he gives. He's not afraid of the moment. I can tell you that. That's what I love about him.
I wanted to ask about R.J. Smith. He he had a really rough game down there.
Yeah.
UCF back in January.
Yes, he did.
You turned back to him in the starting lineup though today. He didn't have a huge scoring game, but got to the free throw line, rebounded the ball, no turnovers.
Yep.
I guess why'd you turn back to him, and then what's it mean? Is he maybe around the corner? Obviously, he hasn't had the league play.
Yeah, defense, Pat. I mean, he gives us a defensive presence at that guard position, and he went through a stretch where he was not playing very good. His body language wasn't very good. His belief, and so it's good to have him back. And he finally, I think the mental part of, what Coach McCartney always said, the mental is to physical, as 4 is to 1, and I think when you go through a losing streak like that, it's and we still got some guys that mentally are not quite where they need to be. RJ was there for, a stretch there of the season, but he's come out the other side of it, so that again is a positive. And it's growth. He sat for 2 years, played 6 games. He's like a freshman, so.
You said you've been through this before. Is it any easier having been through it before?
No, it's not any easier. And when you're the coach at Northern Colorado and your games aren't on television and there's a couple hundred people in the stands and instead of thousands, you kind of fly under the radar. But my first year there we were 4-24, so I don't know what our streak was in terms of losing, but I think 2 of the 4 wins were against Division II teams. So, yeah, that was a rough year. I always said it's easier when you're bad. I'd rather be bad than mediocre, because the mediocrity is what. And I think that's what this team is. We're mediocre, and because you're capable of playing better. You have players that are capable of performing better, but you're not. That's the most frustrating thing as a coach, and that's what I've been through this. And it's not woe is me. It's just the hand, you know, I put the roster together. I signed the scholarship agreement, so it's not, it's the blame goes right here. It doesn't go to them. But when you're bad, you know you're bad. You're like, well, we just got to get our young guys better and got to recruit better. But when you're mediocre, it's really frustrating. So,
Can I ask
and we were bad my first year at Northern Colorado. We were bad.
I asked this of Julian was in there. Now that you have a win under your belt, you know you've been right there at crunch time in a number of these games along the way. Is there a hope that or confidence that maybe it can lead to maybe playing more?
I hope so.
in those moments?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, look, at the end of games, Pat, it's, you know, you got to execute offensively. You got to get a great shot for your team. That's part of my job as a coach, and it's part of our players' jobs is to execute. You know, we can't set screens for them. We can't make jump shots for them, but we can try to put guys in positions where they're the most effective. And then you got to get stops. You know, and so the next close game we're in, guess what? We're going to have to execute offensively and get great shots for our team. And then, look, players make plays at the end of games, close games. I mean, again, you've watched this program, whether it was Derek White, you know, his senior year, or whether it was McKinley Wright, or whether it was KJ Simpson, Tristan DeSilva, you name the guy. Good players make plays down the stretch. And that's what we're going to have to have. We're going to have guys make plays offensively, and we're going to have to get stops. And I hope we're in some close games, you know, because it's fun to win those close ones. And we haven't done it this year.